Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. Presents Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert, a show that shines a light on spiritual growth, health, purpose, and financial education. It's time to emerge and begin to live out your dreams, walk into your destiny, while making a difference in the lives of many.
Welcome to Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert. I am your host, and what an honor it is to come before you another Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. I am excited. I'm excited about today's session because I have our guest. I'm going to stop calling Tony a guest because he's like family now. He's been here like it started in March. He was here every second, I believe it was every second Thursday, and then in September we had him on every Thursday, and we're doing it again this month. I truly believe this information is necessary. So we do have the CEO and the president, visionary of Core Financial Partner, Tony Chambly, and he's coming and he's going to talk about some good stuff on today. So I want you to grab a pen and paper because this information that's going to be shared is going to be truly powerful. But before we get started, this show is being sponsored by Lambert Legacy Financial, powered by Core Financial Partners. Our goal is to teach the truth about money, engaging individuals and families to think about and plan their legacy. Our focus area is our family. Fun. Let's have fun in the process while building our future legacy. This show will introduce you to leaders, experts, and motivators who share their journeys and their stories through personal and professional growth, knowledgeable tips, and lesson learned that will empower you to grow. It is time, y'all. It is time to grow your mind, your spirit, your brand, your business, and yes, truly, your finance. This show, we're going to be talking about, yes, the truth about money, but we're going to really dig deeper on what is true financial education. That is the core, literally the core foundation for Core Financial Partners. And what an honor to us to have Tony to really dig deeper, because we hear about financial education, but do we really understand the true financial education, what that really means? So, Tony, I want you to come on in, and we're going to talk about this. But before we even dive into that, we're going to definitely go into who Core is, and so make sure people understand why we are now talking about financial education. So welcome again. Tony, you now family now, so welcome to the show, our show.
I feel that way too. I really appreciate that. I feel like I'm family now, and you know what it is really, Melissa, more than anything else, is you ever heard that association breeds assimilation? Mm-hmm. Well, I believe because I've been doing this consistently, first monthly, and then beginning of September weekly, you're starting to sound like me. You start to sound like someone that is like well into this, and you can help out so many people because your understanding, your maturity, your development in this industry in the last 6 months is unprecedented. It's amazing. And I watched a lot of people come into this industry and learn and grow, and you're at a high level development pace that I'm really excited about because how many people you're going to be able to help. So anyway, good day to everyone, and thank you for, once again, giving us opportunity to share with you some of our thoughts when it comes to the financial sector we live in. And today we're going to talk about, as Melissa mentioned, what is true financial education. Before that, though, know that at Core Financial Partners, our mission is a 4S mission. It takes you from survival to security to security to success, and then success to significance. Let's go back. Survival is living paycheck to paycheck. And then once you get that going and you start saving a little every single paycheck, right, you start building for security. That's putting away 6 months of your income, right, making it available, not putting it away to the point you got to pay for, early penalty fees and things of that nature and pay taxes for your own money. Then you want to move up to now success. Success now, you're taking and doing the right thing with the money you saved, right? Having a portion of that help you buy assets. Assets are going to be able to take care of your monthly necessities, your monthly expenditures, right? And when you're able to do that, when your assets are able to take care of that on its own, now you have options. You have free time. Now you want to go towards what we call significance, and that's leaving a legacy. That's doing for others that would live on beyond your existing tier. And that's what it's all about. You know, we all have kids and family and community that we want to have a significance, left with them. And you have that position when you really have the truth about money. Then we move over to our philosophy. Our philosophy is that more money doesn't get or keep you out of a financial situation, right? Only financial education does. Many of us, and that was including me, believed that more money was going to get me out of my situation. That's not true, because the more money you make and bring in, the more vulnerability you have to losing it, right? If you don't have financial education, those that do have it know how to get your money away from you. And they have committees. They have focus groups that's all about how do we get our money, how do we get the money from those that are starting to get money. So we have to now be able to, how do we put ourselves a protection around all the sweat equity and tears we put into gaining more revenue, gaining more capital. And I believe more education does. That's the fortress around your future, your financial future, right? It's simply financial education. And then last but not least is our vision. Our vision is about bringing, awareness and education that brings prosperity. That's what we're all about. It's all about more awareness, more education, and now you can see yourself prosper. And that's what we're all about, Melissa. It's all about those three. They all tie together. And I think the subject today, it's right on point to be able to talk about what is true financial education.
I mean, just knowing, Tony, like just the philosophy alone, the financial philosophy of Core Financial Partners, right? More money doesn't get or keep you out of financial situations. Only financial education does. To be honest with you, since when you think about us coming out of our mom's womb, and we are now in between the age, I say 6 weeks, we're now moved into, the parents got to go back to work, so let's put them into a daycare. From that stage, 6 weeks old, we're actually learning. And we're moving from 6 weeks to 10 months to a year to now 5 years old. We're now going to preschool, from preschool into kindergarten. And from kindergarten to first grade, all the way to high school. Then after that, we still doing what? Educating, right? We're going to college. And then they're going to get their bachelor's to their master's to their doctorate degree. So we started learning about education from even 6 weeks old, going into a daycare center, learning colors and, having tangible, touch things, right? So if we can been indoctrinated for so long on things that us going into school and doing things, where is the financial education? So I love that we're talking about what is true financial education. So let's dive really deep now. How do you define what true financial education is? When someone is listening to this, they're like, okay, I heard about financial education, but what you mean true? How do you define that? How do you define true financial education, Tony?
Sure. It's very interesting when you start to dive into this information. I started diving into it in 2007. So here we go. What is true financial education? Well, financial education encompasses 5 different areas, right? It's not one thing. It's 5 different areas. And I want to go through all 5 and give you a little bit of, understanding of when we talk about financial education, what it really means and what it is. And so at Core Financial Partners, we study all 5 of these areas because that's the only way we're going to be well-rounded and create that fortress that's going to help us in moving forward and leaving the significance that we all desire to leave. So here's the first one. The first one is financial education is encompass, number one, financial literacy. And I know a lot of us, we use financial literacy as though it is financial education. It's a part of financial education. It's not financial education. It doesn't replace financial education. Financial literacy is this. It's the ability to be able to read numbers. That's what literacy means when it comes to the financial industry. So what is that? What does that really look like? What is that really? That is being able to identify and read a financial balance sheet and a financial statement, right? And it's something that I believe should be taught in school. You might have to go to an economy class or economics class to really get that information, or just be in business and you kind of figure it out, or you do your own studying. But unfortunately, it's not being taught in the public. So financial education, number one, encompass financial literacy, the ability to be able to read numbers. Here's number two. And number two of what it encompasses is investment strategies, the science of making money, right? When it comes to investment strategies, it's all about how I'm going to get my money to go and do work for me, and versus me having to go work for my money. And that's what it's all about. Investment strategies are all over the place, right? And that's how businesses are started. That's how, the economy, turns, because of different investment strategies, because of, people putting their money to work and putting assets in place. And that's where you want to kind of figure out what would be your way of going about it. What are you going to take your hard-earned dollars to put it in a position and give it an assignment to go make more money for you? So that's what investment strategy it is. It's all about putting money to work so it can bring more money back than you put out. The third area that financial education encompasses is the market, supply and demand, right? If you know the market and you have a supply that could be on demand, it's all about now, where's it measured at today? Where's the supply at? Is it a high supply or low supply? Because that also determines the demand, right? At one time, we remember that, wearing the mask was in high demand, right? And the supply was low. People were starting, mask businesses when we was going through the pandemic. But at a point in time, Melissa, it went away. So if you didn't catch that at the beginning, when it first started in 2021, I believe, or 2020, and you're starting a business in 2023, you was a little late. The dance has come and gone, right? And that's what supply and demand is all about, the market, knowing and being in front of it, not behind it. You can't even be in the middle of a market, because sometimes it's too late when you're in the middle of it. We got to get in front of the market before something has a demand to it, and then you can have the supply to now make, turn $1 into $2. And then here's the fourth area that financial education encompasses is the laws. Knowing the laws and the rules of the state, the country, and the government, right, is so important. I'm not going to start a business in one area of the country or one state when I know the laws doesn't favor what I'm trying to get done. There's people that are up with laws to understand where to land their incorporation, where to get, a business started, right? Where taxes are not being hit hard, right? Some people move to Florida because of the way tax laws are there. Some people move to Texas because of the way tax laws are there. Some people move away from a state like California because of the way the state laws are there when it comes to taxes and things of that nature. So it could be incorporation laws. It can be, tax laws. It can be self-employment laws. Those things matter when it comes to the financial world we live in, right? And so the fourth area encompasses laws. And then the fifth area, Lisa, is history, right? What is the history of money, right? How did money start? At what point in time did money change over to coins and green dollars for us in the United States? When did that happen? Well, the history's there. We can do our research. There are books out there that we can refer to you, because it's understanding also money versus currency. When the dollar was taken off the gold standard in 1971, we need to know why, right? We need to know what happened before that. We need to know about the Bretton Woods Law that happened in the 1930s and 40s, right? Those things matter, right? When we understand all of that, we can see what's coming next, right? When did the Federal Reserve get started, right? All these things matter, understanding the history of money, understanding the history of our financial, economy that we live in. And, I go on and on, Melissa, but those are the 5 areas. Once again, let me go through them again. The first area was financial literacy, the ability to be able to read numbers. The second area, investment strategies, the science of money making money. The third area encompasses the market, supply and demand. The fourth area is laws, right? The rules of the state, the country, and the government. And the fifth area is history, understanding money versus currency. When did all this start? When did they take gold away from the United States citizens? All those things matter. It determines how we make decisions going forward when we have true financial education.
Wow. That is powerful. Again, you are tuned in and listening to Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert. It is always an honor to have Tony Chambly. He is the CEO and the president of Core Financial Partners. And we're talking about what is true financial education. And we just heard all 5, the first 5, we asked about what is that, right? And I love how I'm going to kind of jump into these 5 because you said a couple of nuggets in all 5 that I want to pull and make sure the readers listen to them, especially the first one, financial literacy. I remember back in the days, Tony, where we had a checkbook and we were taught how to balance a checkbook. This generation don't even know what it looks like, what a checkbook looks like.
Exactly.
Right? They don't know how to balance a balance sheet. They don't know how to put a budget together. That's why even in my book, Focus, I put a budget sheet there because people are moving away from writing their budget down and staying on budget so they don't go over in their, in the negative. They're not doing that no more. So I like the fact that you add that in there, identifying and reading financial numbers helps with you to understand a balance sheet, how to balance a balance sheet. Then the second one, when you said investment and strategy, you said something that was like, people don't realize money should work for you. Is your money working for you? You said putting money to work. That's one of the things, again, that we have to learn in this financial educational concept. Mm-hmm. Then you said with the third one, the market, supply, and demand. I love how you said this, knowing and being in front of the market, because when you know what's coming and you're in front of it, you know how to get, you said now you know how to get the supply so you can put it for the demand. I was like, okay. That is amazing because, again, when you can be in front of something, you ain't going to lose out. You're not going to be all the last person to try to figure it out because you're in front of it. You know what's coming, so you're prepared for that. And then the fourth thing, I love how you put the laws. The thing about business, if people don't realize at the end of the day, is we have to know the law of the land. If you don't know the law of the land, you don't know how to operate in it. And I love how you said, know the laws. It matters when it comes to you doing business, especially anything in finance. And lastly, history. We're reading a book in Core, how privatized banking really works. And that was I told you, Tony, that was my first time really understanding American currency. I'm Jamaican. I didn't, coming here, nobody teaches about the American currency, where it came from, how it's, how they manipulate things to make it for their benefit. And this book that you brought to our attention to read and to study, and we're learning it through Core Financial Partners, it helps me understand the history of the currency in the country that I live. And I like how you said, when you understand, you know what is coming next.
That's
Again,
right.
Powerful. So my next question to you, Tony, is how would a person raise their financial IQ in this economy, in this day and age?
Sure. First, I think we went through step number 1, understanding what financial education is. So, everybody, we're here now. Now, what do I do to raise my financial IQ? First thing we want to do is look at how we're earning our dollars, how we're bringing in capital and revenue. right? Are we fulfilling what's necessary for us to take care of our household, right? How do we earn money is number one, right? Because we're going to go through 5 areas. How do you raise your financial IQ? And when it comes to earning money, we have to identify and look at, am I making money from a W-2, 1099, or an incorporation, right? And then even inside of incorporation, Melissa, is it a sole proprietor? Is it LLC? Is it a C Corp? Is it S Corp? All that matters. There's different layers to all of this, right? And here is what I've come to find out. We have to know which bracket am I falling in when it comes to how much am I being taxed, right? Because that's going to be number two. How do I protect my money, right? Which one of those areas I just mentioned, is it the W-2? Is it a 1099 sole proprietor? Or is it incorporation? Which is being taxed the most, right? Or you could be an investor too, right? An investor, I failed to mention that, the way you earn your money. Well, believe it or not, this is a surprise to a lot of us. The highest tax bracket that you're going to pay the most taxes in is W-2, the highest. I feel, Melissa, for celebrities. I feel for athletes. Yeah, they make a lot of money, but guess what? More than probably half of that money is not even theirs, because they have a W-2. And if you look at the tax bracket of, if you make this kind of money or a certain kind of money, they're being taxed like 30, 40, 50% of their dollars. And that's not talking about half the money is not there because they got to pay their manager. They got to pay all these other people, right? So, yeah, they make a lot of money. And that's why when we hear that they broke, I understand. I understand that all that money they list up, that these individuals and these professionals make, it's not all their money. And so W-2 is the highest tax bracket or tax liability you're going to have. Sole proprietor will be number two. If you're somebody that is sole proprietor, like a doctor or a lawyer, they're the second highest. And then you get into businesses, corporation. They're the third highest of being taxed. And then the fourth highest, in the best place to be, is an investor. They get taxed the minimum, the least, right? This is important to know, Melissa. When I learned this stuff, it makes a difference in what I'm going to do with my money. That's why I don't work a job. That's why I don't work a job. You know what I'm saying? So now, here's the deal, though. I'm not judging anybody that works at W-2. I worked it for most of my life, right? But I knew I had to work my way out of that. It was a temporary fix for me. It cannot be permanent if we're trying to get the financial independence. So number two is protection, right? The first one was about how you earn your money. The second one, how you protect your money. Taxes is the number one way to lose your fortunes. It's the number one way. You're not protecting it if you're paying the most taxes that's out there. You're in the bracket of the most taxes. So that's a thing about the second way for financial IQ, to understand how do I lessen my tax liability, right? Another thing is to have an umbrella protection over yourself. Financial education says all that you build, all that you acquire, do you have an umbrella protection over it? All that you set up for you and your family, right, in your income, maybe your spouse's income matters if we're going to carry this out. Because if you don't have the proper insurances in place, one fire can destroy your present and your future. One fire, right? One lawsuit can destroy your present and your future. So we have to have an umbrella protection over all of what we have acquired, all that we plan to acquire. That's why life insurance is important. It really is a number one goal of ours, is to make sure that our clients have protection. Protection is number one. Because I wouldn't want you to have risen up to making a significant income, six figures, multiple six figures, yet that one day is taken away from you. It might be somebody else's decision, or it end up might be in a critical or chronic illness, and you can no longer work, and you don't have what's in place when it comes to, if you don't make it through the critical or chronic illness and you pass away, your family now starts all over again, if not worse. Or your income is taken away because your injury doesn't allow you to now work the way you were before. That's why you have to have disability insurance. All this is protection. So financial education says this. Am I prepared for the worst to happen? Am I prepared for the worst? So, Melissa, this is the thing that I'm working with when I'm working with clients. I'm making sure that this is important, that they're aware. Because remember what our vision is. Awareness and education bring prosperity. Some of us not even aware of it. I know I wasn't. I was in my 40s before I understood this stuff, right? So number 2 is protection. Protection is so important. I can go on and on about protection. I gave you a few ideas about what protection is all about and to bring up your financial IQ. Here's number 3, the way you manage your money, your budget, right? The way you manage your money and your budget, right? And it's all about your relationship with money, too. That dictates that or determine that. So, in other words, do you live in a budget deficit or surplus, right? And here's what I was like this, too. So I am not judging anybody. I'm not hating on anybody. A lot of us like to stay away from me and counting our own money. It's like the elephant in the room. We just doing what we got to do to get it to the next day or the next week or the next month. The average household, right, is 3 to 4 months of being destitute, right? And it's all because our relationship with money, right? Some people don't want to talk about it. Some people don't want to count it. Some people don't want to, deal with it, and that's fine. That's where there's help on the way. There's help here for you, right? So where are you with your budget? If you don't know it, let us do it for you. Let a professional work with you through that process, right? And I get it because, you might be a person you can't afford an accountant or someone that's a CPA. You might can't afford a bookkeeper to do all that for you, right? So that's where it could be made or lost, Belisa, is someone's budget. They make enough, right? They make, I had a client, Melissa, made $400,000 a year, but was spending $400,000 plus, right? And how they spend it plus is because they borrowed the future money. They was in debt. You follow me? So here, all that could be resolved. It's fixable. It's resolvable. If that's a word. But just know that number 3 is all about your relationship with money, your budget, how to look at it and to make some changes that's going to be for the better. Here's number 4. Number 4 is about control. This is where we talking with the wealthy, how they measure what their principles is about. Control is what most middle class give up. If you don't have control, you don't have leverage. If you don't have leverage, it's almost impossible to gain the wealth at the speed you need and want to gain it at if you don't have leverage. When we put our money in qualified plans and you pay early penalty fees to get to it, or you're going to pay super taxes on it, right? Or you being double taxed on it, right? Because double taxes when you borrow money out of your 401k or any qualified plan like a TSP or 403b. If you borrow money out, you're paying it back on tax dollars, and then they're going to tax you again, Melissa, when you take it out. Because of what? Because of control. You don't have any control, right? And at the same idea, in a hope to minimize your taxes, you're being double and triple taxed. And that is the problem. So control really gives you the leverage to do things with, to be able to have your money make money for you. You can't. It's almost impossible to do that without control, right? Wealthy people dare not lose control of their fortunes or their capital. They dare not lose control of it, right? And it's something that Melissa, I can look at somebody, their financial questionnaire, right, that we do. It's like, to me, it's a forecast. And, what does a forecast mean, Melissa? It means forecast means it's going to tell you what's about to happen tomorrow. It's going to tell you what's going to happen next week. That's what a forecast is. It is the forecast of what is going to happen down the road when you don't have control. Right? So control is so important. We have to do what we call a financial stress test. A financial stress test tells you where you are and is it in your best interest the way it's been set up thus far, right? And here's number 5. Number 5 is actually resources. Number 5 is resources. Resources mean who are you following or listening to, or who's coaching you or advising you. And you tell me who you follow and you listen to, and I can tell you what your future is headed to, your financial future is headed to, right? You listen to David Bach? You listen to Tony Robbins? Was it Dave Ramsey? Susie Orman? Just tell me who they are, and I tell you where you're headed, where your future finances is headed, because I know all of their concepts and principles, right? So who you follow, you got to be careful with, right? You got to be careful. Some of them can take you to a certain level, and then they drop you off right there, and then you're stuck. So kind of know with someone that studies this stuff can help you out. They can kind of give you at least the guidance and steer you in the right direction where your end result is what you want it to be. Wouldn't you want your financial future be guaranteed to happen, what you want it to happen, what you want to happen? Absolutely.
Yes.
Everybody deserves that. Right? It is just education. That's all it is. It's awareness and education that will get you there. Not listening to what everybody is saying. Not doing what everybody else is doing. Not listening to what the media is saying to what you should be doing with your money. And I believe who you listen to, your resources matter so much. It might be the number one. I think the importance go down to all the way to the last one. That might be the most important one. The control might be the next most important one. And I did not do them in any order, by the way. I'm just sitting here listening to myself, and I'm like, wow, this is like probably the most important who you're listening to, because sometimes you have good news in your hand. Watch this, Melissa. And people take it away. You ever heard of dream stealers before? You got the right information, and they tell you contrary what you just heard or what you just learned. People learning about infinite banking, and somebody else come and tell them something different about infinite banking, like it's not true. It all could be fact checked, and everything about it is true. So be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you follow. Be careful where you get your information from, because that could matter, right? I read a book one time called Emotional Prisoner. Emotional prisoner means we are the sum total, Melissa, of what we have accepted in our lives from the time we were born. Like you said, 6 months old, you're downloading all this data. And some of us got to have a paradigm shift. Some of us got to empty out and start all over again, right? And I'm telling you, you know why I say that, Melissa? That was me. That was absolutely me. The things that I believed, I remember going over with my wife, what our financial plan was going to be when we got married. I had the plan, Melissa. I was like, look, this is when we're going to do this is when we're going to do that, and this is when we're going to be a millionaire, this is when we're going to go off into the sunset. And guess what? The more I got layers of education, the more I knew I didn't know anything. And the one thing that I was really grateful of, Melissa, and we can go to the next question, is that I didn't have what we call the arrival syndrome. Mr. Nelson Ash, one of my mentors, said that. Do not avoid the arrival syndrome. Don't believe you already know. There's some people not going to listen to this podcast because they already know. We started off with our mission, our philosophy, and our vision, and they think the whole thing going to be the same. Because we do that. We started off every time that way, Melissa. And they're going to drop the mic right then and there, and they're going to miss it. They're going to miss it. I'm here to say, be inquisitive, right? Be curious. Don't let it go. This is what has changed so many people's lives, because they keep reading, they keep listening, they keep watching. They keep themselves around people that's acquiring or have what they want.
Yes.
And so I'm going to stop there, but that's what financial IQ is all about. It's about making sure you know how you're earning your money and which way you want to continue to do it. You're making sure that you're protecting all what you have put in place and what you want to be there in the future. Number 3 is budget. Do you live in surplus or deficit? Or control. If you don't have control, rearrange. Get with someone that knows what they're doing to rearrange your assets and going forward. And then number 5, is resources. Who are you listening to?
Wow. And I love how you even even when you think about number five can be number 1, 2, 3, 4,
You
and
said the all
5.
the way, right?
And you're right. It can be all because, again,
Yeah.
it's what I always tell Chelsea, be careful what enters your gates, your eye gates, your ear gates, and your mouth gate. And whatever you're listening to is something that's going to now go into one of your gates, your ears, right? And it's going to go into that gate, and you're going to now take that and make that doctrine for you. So yes, even what you're reading, who are you reading? What are you reading? How are you keeping that up, right? So I love how you even put all 5 of these, powerful understanding for people to understand. You're not too old or you're not too young to raise your financial IQ. You're not too young and you're not too old to do a shift. So let's go into now, what does it mean by financial mentality? When someone say that, what does that mean, financial mentality?
Yes, that's a part of the relationship we have with money as well. However, it's more the way we think, right? And here's where I would look at it. There's 3 types of financial mentalities. The first is, I would say, the poverty mentality, the poor mentality. Here's where I was when I was in that state. The poor mentality is a person that makes money, right? They bring in some money. And sometimes we think poor mean money, tangible, like they don't have money. No, they can have money. They can be bringing in quite a bit of money, Melissa. However, though, we just buy stuff. You can take care of your responsibility, your bills, but you got these resources of surplus, and you're buying stuff. You need more sneakers, more watches, more jewelry, more shopping needs to be done, more stuff in my house. Stuff is always being bought. It's all over the house, right? That's a poor mentality. Your relationship with money is, I cannot keep it and hold on to it. I need to be doing something with money. I get my tax return, and it's like got wings and it got to go, right? So that's the poor mentality. Been there, got that. Used to be me. Used to have that type of mentality. Then I matured a little bit, and I became the middle class mentality. That's not the second one. The middle class mentality, we go from buying stuff from the poor mentality to the middle class mentality. This is what they do, Melissa. They buy liabilities. Mm-hmm. See, until I really studied and learned from one of my mentors, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, I thought, like a lot of us did, that a liability was an asset. Wasn't sure what the difference was. Well, because I was thinking that way, I was buying more liabilities, thinking I was positioning myself better, right? I thought a car was an asset. I thought my house was an asset. Here's the definition of it, too, and it really changed the way I see things. Anything that takes money out of your pocket is a liability. Anything that puts money in your pocket is an asset, period. So you go to the bank and you buy a house, Melissa, you know what they're going to tell you? Your house is an asset. Be glad. Congratulations to you. That's not true. The truth about an asset, it puts money in your pocket. You just bought a liability. Here's what they fail to tell you. It's their asset, though, because think about it. If you're paying for a mortgage, are you sending money to the bank or not? Your mortgage payment is going to the bank. It is their asset. They forgot to tell you it's an asset, but it's ours, not yours. Right? So when I learned that, okay, buying a car, unless your car, those 4 wheels are making you money like an Uber driver or a Lyft, and you intentionally, that's why you got it, it's not an asset. It's a liability, period. People say to me, Melissa, hey, my house is paid off, though. It's an asset now. I don't think so. Your house could be paid off and you still have responsibility. If you don't pay your taxes, or if you think about it, it has an orbit to it. It has to be. You still got to pay your utilities. You got to keep that house running, right? And the number one thing, if you don't pay taxes on that house and homeowners insurance, it's no longer your house, right? So it's still not an asset. It's still a liability, right? Because it's taking money out of your pocket, not putting money in your pocket. People that own boats, right? It's a liability. Unless you're renting it out and making more from it than you're putting out to it, right? That's what a financial statement and balance sheet, it tells you it's math, not magic. It tells you you're making money or you're losing money. That's all you have to do is look at that, right? Look at your expenses versus, your income versus expenses. It'll tell you, right? So that's where the middle class, we try to do this. We try to, I know, and this is just telling the truth. Sometimes we do things because we keeping up with the Joneses, right? Sometimes it's what we want, not what we need. And to me, what we have to do as somebody that's in that middle class mentality, we have to defeat what Nelson Nash calls the Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says this, Melissa: don't allow your expenses to rise with your income, because you might be starting off where you are today, or you might have been lower of income a little bit not too long ago, and you got a raise for $10,000-$20,000. You was making $40, now you're making $60. What are you doing with that extra money? Here's what most people do when they lose Parkinson's law. They lose the fight against Parkinson's law. They rise their expenses along with their income rising every year. So there's no difference in where you're going to go to really prepare for your future, right? And that's where I believe if you had the personality like that, you want to reverse that like yesterday. Defeat Parkinson's law by allowing your expenses to stay the same, right? And then allowing your income to continue to rise. And here's what the wealth creator comes in at. The wealth mentality. We went through the poor mentality. We went through the middle class mentality that buys liabilities. Here is the wealth mentality. The wealth mentality says, yes, I understand it. I'm going to defeat Parkinson's law. I'm going to allow my income to grow and my expenses to stay the same, right? I'm going to be content for this moment in this season that I'm in, and the income keep rising. So let's say they're bringing in $5,000 a month, and then eventually $7,000, and then $10,000. They had $10,000. You know what they're doing with that? And they was living on $5,000. They're going to let that $5,000. They're going to bank it. They're going to bank it. They're going to bank it. It's going to go to $6,000. They're going to bank it. And guess what they do, Melissa? They take those resources and buy an income-producing asset. They have the mentality, Melissa, that they're going to work to buy assets, not to pay bills any longer. They're past that now. They've gotten to the place in their life, this money I'm making, and if I'm going to go to work for, even working my own business, is going to buy me another asset and another one. And every time they buy an asset, guess what happens, Melissa? The wealth mentality gets to grow their income. Remember, it went from 5 to 10. By the time they bought 1 or 2 assets, they have 15, and then $20,000 a month. Guess what? They still living at $5,000 a month, Melissa.
Yep.
It's different for everybody. Your threshold might be 7 or 8 or 9, $10,000 a month, but you're staying right around that range, right? And they income be at $40,000 a month. And guess what? They continue to rise that income and keep their expenses where they were from almost the beginning, maybe give or take a little bit, right? Yeah. And now, guess what? After all this is done, they reached their goal. They're at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. Now, remember, those income-producing assets they bought is now going to pay for the luxury lifestyle that they had delayed gratification for. Now they can go buy the car. Now, not just the car, because you got a car, but now you can go buy that elite car. You can buy that toy that us guys want to have. Now you can go buy that beach home that you desire. Now you can do the things that you and your significant other or spouse will like to do that you delayed the gratification for. Right? That is what the wealth mentality understand. And I'm saying it like it's years. It can be a couple years. It don't have to be a decade or 2. It could be a couple years to do that. It doesn't take that long when we get our relationship with the money proper. When our relationship with the money is proper and everything else is lined in your life properly, money comes in the bundles. It's so much resources out there when it comes to having capital in your possession, right? And that's where the wealth mentality, have figured out and understand, and they take that and they embrace that. So hopefully it's helpful, right? Where are you? Do a checkup from the neck up. Are you a poverty mentality or poor mentality? Are you a middle-class mentality? You're buying stuff and liabilities that's pour money out of your pocket even though you look good? Or are you a wealth mentality? You're maintaining, you're staying respectable looking, you still got the respectable vehicle, you still got the respectable lifestyle, but you stacking and packing. Which one are we, y'all?
Ooh, you stacking and packing. I like that one. That sounds like something that Toya would say. You stacking and packing. Okay.
Association breeds assimilation.
I love it. Oh, my gosh. You are tuned in to Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert. When I tell you, I am so loving this conversation. I know we've been heavy on infinite banking, heavy on infinite banking concept, but just to stop for a minute to go all the way back. We took it all the way back so you can understand what is true financial education. You are listening and hearing this great expert. He is my expert, okay? He's my mentor. He's my leader. I call him mine. I'm going to be selfish today. You can call him yours when you definitely starting to become a client of Core Financial Partners, right? Tony Chambly, he is the CEO and the visionary and president of Core Financial Partners. And we are diving in and going in about what is true financial education. And I'm going to ask you this one final question because we're about to wrap this show up.
Yep.
But want to kind of get this understanding. What do you mean when you say financial personality?
Yeah, I'm going to be quick on this. I know we're wrapping up. Financial personality comes in when it comes to how do you take care of your major capital purchases, right? We call it MCP, major capital purchases. Well, you better understand when I say a major capital expense, right? Something that's going to cost more than what your monthly income can take care of. You normally got to borrow from the future, right? Use a credit card or finance it, or you dig into a deep savings you have, a nice large savings you have, car purchases, vacations, education, things of that nature. So how do you handle it? There's three different money personalities when it comes to it. The first money personality, Melissa, is someone that's going to always finance or borrow money, right? They're going to use credit cards. They're going to use financing to get things of that nature, taking care of car notes to make sure they have the car they need and desire. They're going to always finance it. So when it comes to financing something and getting the principal from your banking institution, they're always going to have a cost behind it, which is the interest cost. So that's what the debtor, right, is always accustomed to. The debtor is always accustomed to taking and doing their major capital purchases through financing it. That's what we call someone that's a debtor. Here's the second money personality. They're a saver. They've decided they want to avoid paying interest. They've taken maybe a Dave Ramsey class to understand the cost of interest, which is very, very good to have gotten to that place. And now you save your money and you pay cash for cars, vacations, education, holidays, anniversaries, things of that nature. So that's what they do. The saver personality says, I'm going to avoid paying interest and I'm going to build my cash up and have a portion of it or all of it to be available to take care of these major expenses so I can stop giving away the cost of interest to the financial institutions I normally bank at. That's the saver, right? And then we have the third money personality, and the one that most people are not familiar with, and that's called the wealth creator. So we went from the debtor to the saver to the wealth creator. Here's the wealth creator. The wealth creator says this, Melissa, I am going to, be strategic on taking care of my major capital purchases. I'm going to save my money in a position of leverage. Remember, they're going to have control. So they're going to save their money in a position of leverage. They're going to use OPM, other people's money. So when a car, let's say a car is needed to be purchased, well, they're not going to spend their $30,000, give or take, for a vehicle. They have the money is in their account. They can look at it. However, they say, look, I have a position in a relationship where I can borrow against my money, not from my money, and that's what the wealth creators do. And they do it, and they operate under the concept of economic value. Economic value means this, Melissa. It means you can now know that your money in your account is making more money than it's costing you to borrow money from the OPM institution, other people's money. So your money might be growing at 7-8%, and they're only going to charge you to borrow their $30,000 at 3 to 4%. You should take that deal every single day, and a wealth creator totally understands that, right? So they're kind of similar to the wealth mentality. The wealth mentality and the wealth creator are two of the same, because guess what? They've gotten or received and acquired the financial education to be in a know to do this. So the wealth creator says, look, I know math. Math is not a liar, right? So here it is. They're going to give me 7-8% on my account growth, and I can borrow money from over here for only 3 to 4%, and my whole amount in here is going to grow without me touching it, and I can pay them back at my pace and at my leisure. Oh, I'm taking that deal every single day. So that wealth creator has positioned himself what we call the infinite banking concept. That's what the infinite banking concept is all about. How do you position yourself and get a net gain on their major capital purchases that normally you either pay somebody to use that money, or you give up your money and the velocity that it was growing at when you take it out is gone forever and start all over. With the wealth creator, they don't have to worry about that. They got the best of both worlds. They grow uninterrupted and still get the thing they want and have the need once the desire is met, and without interrupting any growth. And that lifestyle change doesn't change at all. Because remember, the wealth mentality, his lifestyle didn't change. He didn't increase it. He didn't decrease it. Him or her didn't decrease it or increase it, because they understood by using the wealth creator a way of their personality working, where they were being in a position of using OPM's money versus their money. So that was all major capital purchase, because the average person, Melissa, in closing, do 2 to 4 major expenses a year, the average person. Imagine if you're able to do that with those expenses being gone forever from the past, but going forward, they're going to be there growing for you for the rest of your life. That's the difference in a wealth creator versus a debtor or a saver.
Wow. I mean, this is so much to think about, Tony, and I think that because we've been indoctrinated for so long, that I want people to understand that you're not too young, you're not too old to learn the true financial education, what that looks like, what that means to you, so you can begin to shift. So tell us a little bit about how can we continue to learn more, about core financial partners, learn about the concept of what we're teaching here, how about getting out of debt, how to build wealth. So tell us, what are the different links that we can follow to be able to, get this information from you the more?
Sure, absolutely. We can start with learnmorewithcore.com, learnmorewithcore, CORE.com. And there's a video archive there, and we just continue to add new videos on there, and we up to like 15 videos, and the average video is only 2 to 4 minutes long, but they give you some insight and some quick nuggets on how all this works. And it's important that you do it at your pace and be able to go back and revisit it and then share with other people as well. The other site, the link that I want to give you, is most people wealth is blocked by the debt that you're incurring or you possess that you're paying interest on, right? Whether it's a card note, a mortgage, a student loan, whatever it is, credit card. Well, go to this link, and it's going to show you how to use these concepts as a wealth creator through infinite banking concept on how to get rid of your debt and grow your wealth at the same time. Get rid of your debt and grow your wealth at the same time. Normally we do one or the other. So go to coredebtstrategy.com, coredebtstrategy.com. Okay, please go there. Also, I believe we all, if you're in the sound of my voice, pick up these books that we're gonna suggest to you. Learn this concept to the point that if it was going to work for you and get you where you want financially, would you do it? If we knew for a fact that it was going to happen, would you do it? And I believe you would. So go to corereads.com, corereads with the S.com, and this is a list of books right there. I'm not even going to say any. Start from the top. We got them in order of what we believe in the order you should read them, get these books and read them. They're very short reads. Most of them could be read over the weekend. Use this to read over the weekend or whatever days you have available to start reading them. Everything we're talking about is in these books, and it's going to change your life, right? Too many of us are dependent on other people to tell you what to do with your money. And nobody has the best interest of your money more than you do. We're here to be a resource. We're here to grow with you and grow through all of the pain and the trials and errors that our country is about to come up against. And you want to be prepared. So I think that's it, Melissa. Thank you for once again allowing me to share my thoughts and some of the information that I've been able to gather and, be able to share with my friends that are going to be listening. Even if you don't know me yet, we're friends, and hopefully I can get to meet you real soon.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I mean, again, thank you so much, Tony. I enjoy learning from you. You are truly a great friend, a great mentor, and it's just truly an honor to be a part of this amazing crusade. And one of the things that I again, just thinking about what our mission is, awareness and education brings prosperity. Awareness, to be aware of what is going on with us, is the first key to now changing your financial future. But the second thing is education. Educating yourself to understand what I can do different to now bring forth this prosperity that we need. I am so thankful for CORE, and I'm so thankful for your lovely wife, Latoya Chambly, and all the corepreneurs. So if you have not reached a corepreneur yet, please connect with us. Mr. Chambly gave you all the contact. Corporate. Don't forget to go to CORE, corefinancialpartners.com, as well as we mentioned. Also, Lambert Legacy Financial. We're powered by CORE Financial Partner. They are truly a blessing to me, and I want you to definitely check us out. Go to our YouTube channel. All Mr. Chambly's recording is there. Everything that we talked about, Women Emerge Network on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook at Melissa, Mellisas Lambert. Also, Lambert Legacy Financial is my page. And listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, but share this information with someone you like, love, and trust. Let them know that we exist. They can go to Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert on any of the 12 top podcasts. And if you find this so helpful, share it with a friend, share it with somebody. And please, also give us a comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Mr. Chambly, he wants to know. Tony wants to know how he doing, right? So thank you so much again, Tony, for just being here. I truly appreciate each and every listener. I know that this is truly going to be a blessing to you and your family. And it's time to take our awareness up to another level so we can see financial future, financial change for our entire family. Until next Thursday, y'all know I'm here on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm also here on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern at WomenEmergeRadio.com. Until next time, again, Mr. Chambly, Tony, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you.
Well, thank you for inviting me again.
You're welcome. Until next time, y'all, take care, take charge, and continue to be great. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Women Emerge with Melissa Lambert, where Melissa speaks with leaders, experts, and motivators who share their journeys and their stories through personal and professional growth, knowledgeable tips, and lessons learned that will empower you to grow. Follow Melissa and Women Emerge Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at MELLISASLAMBERT and at Women Emerge Network. And visit www.womenemergenetwork.com. Remember, when you know better, you can do better, especially when God is for you.